Putting your body in a bootleg, here's your look at a knockoff of a Kotobukiya horror Bishoujo statue of Chucky. A new version of the classic horror icon Chucky is now horror Bishoujo statue from Kotobukiya. Chucky wears a variation of the outfit worn by the killer from the movies. The innocent-looking overalls and striped shirt hide the true nature of this character. Beneath the red hair and pigtails is a friendly wink and smile that lures your attention away from the knife she hides behind her back. This statue also comes included with an alternate evil scarred head for frightful display. So I've traveled down the rabbit hole again of going on AliExpress, seeing what knockoff statues and figures I could pick up for you, the viewing audience. I consider it more a public service announcement than anything else, an experiment, if you will, to see really how good of a deal some of these knockoffs are. If the price seems too good to be true, is it a case that it is too good to be true? Or if the QC issues plaguing these so badly, then in fact you haven't saved money, you've lost more. As a public service announcement aside, I've also picked this one up more of necessity than anything else because, foolish me, of all the horror Bishoujo statues I have in my collection, I sold my Chucky, thinking I was just going to do away with all of them. I sold the Chucky, I sold the Jason, I sold the Freddy, realizing after the fact I was so stupid. I should have kept it into collection. So I ultimately did buy this one also because I did want to have it as part of my collection. The price for this one I think was about $30, $25 to $30. Far steal, really, when you consider the original release, Chucky, is now going for prices like $200 to $300 online. I do want to say, though, that when Kotobukiya hopefully does reissue this one, I will be picking that one up and replacing it with this one. This is certainly, just for the time being, a temporary place in my collection. With that being said, let's go ahead and just measure off to the very top of her head. Now, I've done it actually away from the statue base for obvious reasons. Obviously, if I measured it right there, it would throw off how tall the statue actually stands. How tall does it stand? It stands 7.6 inches in height. We can switch that to centimeters, revealing that KO knockoff Bishoujo Chucky, don't worry, I'm not going to put that all in the title, is 19.4 or almost 19.5 centimeters tall. And let me just reiterate as well, I'm not promoting the idea of getting these knockoffs. If anything, I really, again, want to promote the idea of showing you guys how good or bad these look like when you get them in hand. Because half the time, you're only seeing these images online, and you're seeing a marked down price, and you're thinking, well, that's not that bad. For the $30 or so to pick up a Bishoujo Chucky, if it looks exactly like the regular retail release, then I'm getting myself a deal. But again, how much of a deal are you actually getting? Let's get a closer look at the statue. She does come included with a swappable head. That hasn't changed from its original release. You get the scarred version, and then you get the non-scarred version, as you can see currently on her shoulders. She does also come with the accessory of having a display stand. And I will tell you right out the bat, getting this statue on the display stand was problematic. I don't remember the original one having so much of an issue, but the larger pegs, I had a real difficult time of actually getting them into the holes of her feet. Now, just for the risk of actually breaking the peg, I didn't end up pushing them down any further than what they are right now. But it clearly is already one of the issues I've noticed with this statue. Again, the whole reasoning why I want to do this series of these reviews. So I'm going to see if I can try to, maybe if I can submerge the bottoms of her feet in hot water. It may be enough to make that plastic soft enough that I can get that peg in place. But I mean, neither one of them actually stay properly on the undersoles of her shoes. The other accessory she comes included with, spinning the statue around, is a knife. The knife is a softer plastic. Being that I don't have the other one available right now, I can't do a comparison side to side. But all I did was, when I got this out of the packaging, I took the knife. And if you do, not again recommend picking these ones up, but if you do end up picking this one up for yourself, the knife is actually just underneath her alternate head. It's very small, easy to lose, and it's a softer plastic. So just kind of get that into her fingers. Just like that, and slide it down as far as you can possibly get it. And there you go. Okay, so let's start with the top of her head, the main head that she comes included with, and then we'll swap shop in a second. For the defaulted head sculpt, it's not bad. I already see one of the big problems with this figure is obviously the paint application. Now, I'm no stranger when it comes to picking up horror Bishoujo knockoffs. I did end up picking up the Jason and the Freddy knockoff because I didn't end up having those in my collection. I sold them again, the same sad sob story as the Bishoujo Chucky. Sold those thinking I was going to free up my collection, regretted it right after that. But one of the issues that I had with those statues is the same thing I have an issue with this statue. The plastic is really pale, and it misses a lot of the airbrushing that really brought a lot of the details to the light, really, on the other Bishoujo when we had a look at that Chucky. I mean, it's close. It is pretty close. But the skin really is, I think, the main thing that you can really pinpoint as to why this is a knockoff versus the other one released. I think the other one had a lot of additional airbrushing around the eyes, airbrushing around the areas of her cheeks. This one basically is just the coloring of the plastic more than anything else. You can see the one eye is printed on there. Well, both eyes, I suppose, are printed on there. And already I've got a little scratch that's going right through the eyeball. Can you see it? Right there. I mean, from a distance, you're not going to see it. When you look at it up close, yeah, there is obviously some real issues with the applied eyes. I mean, the eye isn't too bad, short of the fact it's got that little scratch running straight through the iris. Oh, that's so sad. You see the eyebrows painted in there. The one closed eye, same as what we got before, samesies there. On the freckle placement, and again, I don't have the other one to compare it to, but I don't feel like the freckles were just so generously applied. It literally looked like they had a freckle rolling machine, and they just rolled the freckles across her face, whether her nose was there or not. I think, again, on the original one, there wasn't freckles across the nose. I'm going to have to check my older video and compare notes. So yeah, that's a little upsetting. I suppose it is still a passable copy of what we get from the original Chucky, but it is definitely a case. If that other Chucky is available, I'm going to be picking that one up instead of having this one in my collection. Other issues, well, we certainly can look at them right now. The striping on the shirt is really off. Something's happened up here where the green has just decided to stop by and visit his neighbor friend, the red. I mean, it's just all over the place. I don't think it was this messy. I really certainly don't think it was this messy when we looked at that other Chucky. But again, unfortunately, getting the knockoff version, you sort of have to go in there expecting and knowing that there are going to be shortcomings. Paint isn't going to be applied as well, or in many cases, the paint's going to not even be applied at all. Like, for example, on the inside of the sleeve, it's just left off completely. I mean, I can't even say it's really in a place that you wouldn't even see it. You can see it right there. It stands out like a sore thumb, as well as the mishap and the striping on this side. Like, it could have been better if it was just hidden on the back. That is what I'm guessing what it should look like. But again, like, you've got all this striping that's just overlapping here. It looks like an absolute mess. Now, with this particular Chucky, of course, gone away are like the pants. Instead, you get like a skirt here. And of course, the Good Guys done printed across the front. At least the Good Guys is clean. Got a couple of buttons there along the top. Some buttons and snaps down the side of the skirt. Again, I feel like with the original release, and unfortunately because I don't have that in front of me, I can't just do an apples to apples comparison. But I feel like airbrushing would have been also brought into play here when we looked at the actual coverall skirt that she's wearing. Further down, you can see like the higher leg sock on the one side, more closer to being like a mid-thigh. This one is rolled down past the point of the knee. Very, very pale plastic again coming into play here. The shoes are, for the most part, pretty well painted. Again, they haven't at least left the underprinting. See the little soles there, the Good Guy sole. At least that's still there. I thought, if anything, that would be just completely left off, but at least they actually did put it there. Now, she does have the swappable head sculpt. Being the price that this is so affordable, I might even consider picking up a second one of these, which is really what I wanted to do in the first place, because she did have the swappable heads. This is what the other alternate head sculpt looks like. And it's literally just a case where you're popping this one off. I think I even mentioned in the review that this reminds me of Wendy's. You know the girl Wendy's? Not the Wendy's that sells the hamburgers. Dave Thomas. Wendy Thomas, I guess. Is that her? That's his daughter. You're going to go ahead and just pop off Wendy's head. You're going to put that to the side. You're going to replace it with this one. You're literally just going to line the peg hole to the peg and then just put the head down. Just be careful of this. And go ahead and push that down. Bringing again the comparison between the two. Again, I don't really want to advocate picking up a knockoff, but at least if you wanted to pick up more than one of these statues are generally over $100 to start off with. So you're not really going to be going out and start army building these things. But if you did want to pick up more than one of these at the price that the knockoffs are going for, at least you can then display Chucky with the two different looks. Now, for my own memory banks, going back and thinking about what it looked like when we looked at this one before, I really think where the biggest problem happens is with the alternate head sculpt. Between stitches just being all over the place, the stitches are literally going right into her eye, and the absence of airbrushing, I think, is really where the face ends up being underwhelming. The head sculpt is the same, the hair is the same, there's nothing different between that, but it's really the airbrushing, it's the additional coloring that really enhances all the features on this statue. And with those really being left off the table, you're only really relying then again on the coloring of the plastic and the hope that this is going to be at least in the right place. I really think like this is completely way off whack from where it's supposed to be. The freckles, I don't know. I mean, the freckles are sort of going underneath her nose. They're kind of looking like they're like a little army of ants crawling into her nostrils. The mouth is probably the biggest culprit in this. Not only do you have the stitches going right into her lip, but it looks like they've actually painted the bottom of her lip to look like her teeth. I would say maybe of the two, the defaulted or the non-scarred head actually seems to do a better job of carrying over a level of QC, where I really feel like where you start seeing the real issues when it comes to these statues, buying them at a cheaper markdown price, is that really you're starting to see what gets sacrificed as a result of it. And I'm really not trying to advocate the idea that you guys should start buying knockoff bootleg figures and statues over buying the original copies. I can understand that the prices on the originals would have skyrocketed, and it's an awfully sweet, tempting deal when you see these things at like 10th the price. It literally is a 10th the price. Bishoujo Chucky right now, I think on eBay is about $200 to $300. I got this one, this sweet find, for about $30. Did I save myself all that money? Some would say, in fact, I've wasted $30. What you do get is basically the same statue build as the other one, so they haven't sacrificed anything with the mold. Where I think the corners got cut the most is the paint application. The stripes on the sleeves are either not even there, or what they are there, they're just overlapping with one another. Who cares? Let's just overlap the green on top of the red. On the back, let's not even make the green really connect to itself. Let's just do whatever we want. And biggest culprit of that is the head sculpt. Not so much the regular winking head sculpt. I don't think that one's that bad at all. But the scarred head sculpt is really where it forfeits and corner cuts the most. Again, when you look at the back of the box, and I'm showing you here in final look so you can actually do a side-to-side comparison, warmer colors definitely have been left off the table here when it comes to the molding of the plastic. They're literally just going for that bleached plastic to start off with, and then just printing the image of the face over top of it. What results in the scarring is like all over the place. It kind of looks like it's going right into her eye. Her mouth is a mess, and it really does lack a lot of the depth of the airbrushing that the original benefited from. So again, while some may say $30 for a $300 statue, that's a steal. Some may also just say, you've wasted $30. That money's never going to come back. Let's have a funeral for that fallen $30. Have you picked up any knockoffs for yourself? Based on what you saw in this review, would you rather get yourself the true legitimate Bishoujo Chucky, or would you be content and fine to spend the $30 to get the one that's slightly lackluster that we had a look at in this review? And again, that's the whole point of why I'm doing these videos, is for me to spend the money. I don't know how I signed up for that, but for me to actually spend the money to show you guys what these knockoffs look like, and for you, the viewing audience, to gauge whether it's worth buying a knockoff, or if you'd rather just be holding out hope that you can get the original release copy at a cheaper price. Let's just hope Kotobukiya reissues this Kotobukiya Chucky, because this, I'm telling you, is only going to be a temporary fill for the time being. This Chucky is simply just renting out the real estate space until eventually I get my hands on that other Bishoujo Chucky. The original one, the legitimate one. Not this one right here. Should have never sold it. I was a big fool. If you are fans of this channel and you're liking all the content you're seeing, and you haven't yet done so, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Turn the bell notification on. And by all means, come back to this channel Monday to Friday, 12 p.m. and 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be having a look at more KO toys, statues, and figures. So if this is your kind of thing, stay tuned to this channel because there's going to be a lot more of these coming your way. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.